Every single morning you wake up and you're at war. Not with the world. Not with your family. You're at war with yourself. The man or woman in the mirror. That voice that says, hit snooze. You're tired. Rest a little longer. That voice is the enemy. And every time you give in, it grows stronger. But every time you get up, lace your shoes, and attack the day, you take its power away. The real fight begins before the sun even rises. When your body screams no, and your purpose whispers go. That's the moment champions are made. Not under the lights. Not when people are watching, but in the dark, when no one gives a damn. The ones who win the morning win everything. Because how you start is how you finish. How you start is how you dominate. You've got to learn to get up when it hurts. You've got to learn to train when it's cold, when it's raining, when you didn't sleep, when everything in your life is trying to hold you back. Because that's where your edge is built. In discomfort, in sacrifice, in discipline. You want to be a savage. Act like one at 4:30 a.m. when no one is clapping for you, when no one sees the grind. The morning battle is a test of will. Most people fail it. Most people are soft. They hit snooze 3 times, scroll their phone for 20 minutes, and wonder why life punches them in the face all day. Because they lost the first fight. They lost the morning. You've got to take control. Dominate the morning. Own your destiny. There's a voice in your head that's a liar. It wants you to take the easy way. It wants you to back down. But there's another voice. Quiet, disciplined, relentless. You feed that voice every time you rise early and get after it. The battle never ends. It's fought every single day. And the only way to win, show up. And again, the first war is internal. When that alarm rings before sunrise, the first thing you feel is resistance. Your body's stiff. Your eyelids are heavy. And then comes the voice, the comfortable, familiar one whispering, just 5 more minutes. That voice is not some random thought. That's the enemy. That's the part of you that wants to stay the same. It doesn't care about growth, progress, or evolution. It only cares about comfort and safety. And every single morning, that voice steps into the ring and throws the first punch. Before you even take a breath, you're in a fight with yourself. You don't need someone else standing in front of you to be at war. The most dangerous opponent you'll ever face lives inside your own head. It knows your weaknesses better than anyone. It knows exactly what excuses to feed you, what lies to whisper to keep you from doing the hard things. It doesn't yell. It's subtle. It's persuasive. It sounds like logic. You trained hard yesterday. It's okay to skip today. You deserve rest. It's too early and you need more sleep. But if you listen to it, it wins. And when it wins once, it gets louder. The hardest part of the day isn't the workout. It's not the cold shower or the miles you run or the weight you lift. It's the decision to get up. It's the battle that happens in that 5-second window when your feet should hit the floor, but your mind wants to delay. That's where champions separate themselves. Not because they're more gifted, but because they refuse to lose that first war. They shut down the excuses and take action. No matter how tired, sore, or overwhelmed they are, they choose to fight. You see, everyone's chasing external victories, more money, better bodies, faster results. But none of that matters if you haven't conquered you. If you can't win the war within, the world outside will eat you alive. If you fold to your own weakness, how do you expect to handle pressure, adversity, and setbacks from the outside world? The internal war is the training ground. It's where self-respect is earned. It's where confidence is forged. Not from what you say, but from what you do when no one is watching. It's not about being perfect. You're going to slip. That voice will win sometimes. But you must become the kind of person who fights back every time. That resistance you feel is actually your compass. It's pointing you to the exact place you need to go. The more you feel it, the more you should lean into it. That discomfort is the doorway to strength. And every time you choose to override that voice, you take power from it. You shrink it. And in the process, you expand your will. There's a version of you that lives on the other side of that voice. The version you haven't met yet. The one who doesn't make excuses, who doesn't surrender comfort, who doesn't delay action. That version isn't waiting for motivation. That version is waiting for you to show up. And every single morning is a chance to get closer to becoming that person. But first, you have to fight. You have to face off with the one opponent that knows all your flaws and fears. You have to win the first war of the day, you. Vest you. The battle begins before the sun rises, long before the city stirs, before the first light creeps through your window, before the traffic clogs the roads. The real ones are already at war. While the rest of the world sleeps, the savage is awake, preparing, pushing, grinding. This isn't about waking up early to feel productive. This is about domination. This is about taking control of your life before the world even knows you're moving. The battle isn't when the day starts. It's how you start it. You either hit the ground with intent or you get run over by the day. You can't fake that kind of commitment. You either have it or you build it through pain. There's no applause in the early hours. No audience. No likes. No recognition. It's cold. It's silent. But that's the point. You separate yourself from the masses when you choose to suffer in silence. Most people won't do it. They crave comfort. They need the warmth of the bed, the ease of routine, the illusion of rest. But you rise before the sun because you understand comfort doesn't make killers. Suffering does. The early morning hours are where character is chiseled. When it's dark and cold and your body begs you to stay still, that's when you show what you're made of. When you train in the quiet, you build a noise inside of you. A noise that roars when it matters. A noise that silences doubt, fear, and hesitation. You don't become unbreakable by accident. You build it brick by brick, minute by minute, decision by decision, starting before the sun ever gets the chance to rise. Most people start their day reacting to emails, to news, to life. They let the world decide their mood. But if you win the morning, you take command of your mind, your time, your energy. You dictate the pace. The first move of the day belongs to you, not your job, not your phone, not the world. That's the battle. It's control vis chaos. It's order vis surrender. You don't start strong by waiting. You start strong by starting early. Because the longer you delay, the louder the excuses get. Think about this. Predators hunt in the dark. They don't wait for permission. They don't wait for light. They attack before anyone knows what's happening. That's how you have to approach your goals. Be the one who trains in silence so you can strike in public. Be the one who's already put in work before others hit snooze. That's not just physical strength. That's mental warfare. You've got to condition your mind to understand that greatness is earned in the unseen hours. So when you wake up and that voice tells you it's too early, you better answer action. Don't think, don't negotiate, get up, move, push, bleed if you have to. Because every minute before dawn is a battlefield. And how you fight there decides what happens when the sun finally comes up. Win in the dark, and you'll never be outmatched in the light. Discipline over motivation. Motivation is a liar. It shows up when it wants to, disappears when you need it most, and it's as unpredictable as the weather. If you build your life on motivation, you'll crumble the second things get hard. Motivation is a spark. It's quick, flashy, and gone in an instant. Discipline, on the other hand, is fire. It stays lit through storms, through fatigue, through boredom. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't wait for the right mood. It does the work, no matter what. The truth is, there are going to be more days when you don't feel like doing the work than days when you do. That's reality. Your body will be sore. Your mind will be tired. Life will hit you with setbacks. If you're waiting to feel motivated, you'll be waiting forever. That's why discipline is the foundation. Discipline means showing up regardless of emotions, regardless of circumstances. It means doing what needs to be done, even when every part of you screams for comfort. That's where the edge is in doing what most won't. Discipline doesn't give a damn about feelings. It's about doing the work when the lights are off, when it's raining outside, when no one's watching, when it's 4 a.m. and the alarm hits. Motivation is going to get you out of bed. But discipline will. Discipline reminds you of the mission. Discipline pulls you out of your softness and throws you back in the fight. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is built. It's trained. It's earned through repetition and suffering. You want to be the one who stands out. Then you better stop chasing hype and start embracing habits. The ones who win aren't the ones most excited. They're the ones who've committed day in, day out with zero excuses. That's what separates the weak from the relentless. The weak wait for motivation. The relentless act with discipline. That's the gap. That's where your power lies, in doing the thing anyway. Discipline is the skill that makes everything else possible. You want to be strong. Train every day. You want to be sharp. Read and grow every day. You want to be unstoppable. Show up every day, even when it's inconvenient. especially when it's inconvenient. That's the difference. Anyone can act right when it's easy. But when it's hard, that's when discipline steps up and says, let's go. And here's the truth no one likes to hear. The more disciplined you become, the less you need motivation. Because discipline doesn't wait for a good mood. It creates results. And those results feed your mindset. You stop relying on hype and start building a system. A ruthless, daily system that produces strength, focus, grit, and eventually success. Not by chance, but by discipline. By choice. Every single morning. Snooze button, surrender the moment your alarm goes off. You're faced with your first decision of the day. It's not just about waking up. It's about who you are. You either rise with purpose or you hit snooze and surrender. That button might look harmless, but it's the first battle, and most people lose it without even knowing they're in a fight. When you hit snooze, you're saying, I'm not committed. I'm not disciplined. You're giving up control before the day even begins. That's not just a delay. It's a defeat. Every time you hit snooze, you're feeding weakness. You're telling your mind that comfort matters more than growth. That temporary warmth is more important than your long-term goals. And worse, you're training yourself to avoid discomfort. You're reinforcing the habit of hesitation. What starts with 10 more minutes in bed becomes 10 more days of excuses, 10 more weeks of procrastination, 10 more years of wasted potential. Snooze may seem small, but small losses stack up into big failures. People think success is about big moments, but it's not. It's about the tiny decisions that no one sees. The alarm rings at 4:30 a.m. And what do? Do you rise or do you delay? That decision determines everything else. It sets the tone. It tells your mind we're in charge or we're weak. When you get up immediately, you're building discipline. You're telling your future self, I've got your back. You're proving that you can follow through, not just once, but every single day. The snooze button is comfort's greatest weapon. It convinces you that more rest will make you stronger, when in truth, it's stealing your edge. Real strength isn't built in comfort. It's forged in resistance. Every time you override that impulse to delay, you take your power back. You take control from the part of you that wants to stay average. It's not about the alarm. It's about the mindset. And if you let that soft voice win in the morning, it'll keep showing up in every challenge you face. You want to become unstoppable? Then stop negotiating with yourself. Stop entertaining weakness. When the alarm hits, get up. No discussion. No compromise. That action becomes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries, and you start seeing yourself as someone who executes. That's the difference between average and elite. They don't wait to feel ready. They rise because they made a commitment to themselves. And nothing, not fatigue, not doubt, not discomfort can break that. Understand this. Every time you conquer that initial urge to hit snooze, you're building a stronger version of yourself. You're sharpening your mental armor. You're proving to your mind that you're not a slave to comfort. You're a warrior in control of your choices. And warriors don't delay. They attack. The battle begins the moment you wake. And if you lose that first second, the rest of your day is already compromised. So stop hitting snooze. Because every time you do, you're telling your goals, not today. Comfort is the killer. Comfort is a seductive assassin. It whispers to you in the warmth of your bed, in the softness of your habits, in the routine that never challenges you. It convinces you that safety is success, that relaxation is reward. But what it's really doing is killing you slowly, silently, without a fight. Comfort doesn't strike like a lion. It creeps like poison. And by the time you realize what it's done, your edge is gone. Your hunger is gone. Your fire is out. Because you let it in one soft choice at a time. Comfort is the voice that says, you've done enough. Take it easy. You deserve rest. But deep down, you know that voice is a liar. Because the goals you set, the dreams you claim to chase, they don't live in campaign, in pressure, in pushing yourself past the limits you've blindly accepted. Every time you choose comfort, you're stepping further away from the person you're trying to become. You're feeding the weaker version of yourself. You're giving life to mediocrity. People don't realize how dangerous comfort is because it feels good. But that's what makes it so lethal. Growth doesn't feel good. Progress doesn't feel easy. Success isn't convenient. It's earned in the places where most people refuse to go. In discomfort, in resistance, in suffering. If you're always looking for what's easy, you'll never become what's necessary. You don't need more comfort. You need more confrontation. Confrontation with your limits, with your lies, with your laziness, because that's the only way you evolve. You want to know why some people rise and others rot? It's not luck. It's their relationship with pain. The ones who rise run toward it. They train when it hurts. They grind when it's inconvenient. They sacrifice when no one's watching. Why? Because they know the truth, comfort kills potential. You can't become a machine living like a civilian. You can't sharpen steel by dipping it in warm water. You sharpen it in the fire. And the fire lives outside your comfort zone. You think you're tough because you train when it's sunny and perfect. Anyone can do that. But what happens when it's cold, raining, when you're tired, when life punches you in the mouth? That's when it counts. That's when the ones built in pain rise and the comfortable break. If you want to separate yourself, stop running toward what feels good and start embracing what breaks you. That's the real transformation. That's where the version you're hunting is hiding, beneath the weight of discomfort you've been avoiding. So the next time comfort calls you, you better recognize it for what it is: a trap, a death sentence for growth, a thief dressed as kindness. Because comfort isn't here to help you. It's here to soften you. And you weren't born to be soft. You were born to suffer, struggle, and rise. The question is, how many mornings will you surrender before you finally decide to fight back? Morning routines forge warriors. A warrior isn't built in the spotlight. They're forged in repetition, in discipline, in the daily grind that no one sees. And it starts with the morning routine. That sacred time before the world wakes up. That's when you lay the first bricks of your greatness. Every action, every movement, every habit you stack in those hours becomes the steel in your spine when the pressure hits later in the day. Your morning isn't just a start, it's a statement. I'm already ahead. Most people roll out of bed and fall straight into chaos. No structure, no purpose, no edge. They're in reaction mode before their feet hit the floor, but not the warrior. The warrior designs the morning. Every second is intentional. That alarm cracks, the silence, no hesitation. No wasted motion. Hydrate, breathe, move, suffer, push, reflect. These aren't tasks, they're rituals. They sharpen your body, strengthen your mind, and prime you for war. When you repeat the same high standard routine every morning, it becomes more than just habit. It's identity. You stop being someone who's trying to get disciplined. You become someone who is disciplined. There's power in predictability, power in precision. You know what needs to be done, and you do it automatically, relentlessly. Morning routines aren't just about organization, they're about domination. They give you control when the rest of the world is still lost in dreams. You think morning rituals are optional. You're wrong. They're essential. Because without a foundation, everything else crumbles. When chaos hits your day, and it will, you'll either be grounded or you'll be weak. The routine prepares you for the unpredictable. It strengthens the system so you can handle the storm. This is why the most savage individuals in any field own the morning. Not by accident, by choice. They built armor before they even faced their first opponent. And don't confuse a routine with comfort. This isn't about drinking green juice and journaling in the sunlight. This is about doing hard things while the rest of the world sleeps. It's about hitting your workout when your muscles ache. Reading something that forces your brain to expand. Sitting in silence when distraction is pulling at your skin. It's about leaning into the discomfort first, so nothing the day throws at you can shake your core. This isn't wellness. It's war prep. Your morning routine is your proving ground. It's where you earn yourself respect before the world can even test you. No one claps. No one watches. But that's exactly why it matters. You're not doing it for approval. You're doing it for armor. So that when the battles of life show up, and they will, you're already 10 steps ahead, weaponized by consistency, hardened by the dark hours. Morning routines don't just build your day. They build you.